presenting the system jointly with my colleague Łukasz, and we would simply like to focus on two important aspects of XTRF, which are related with user experience, time saving, and generally making users happy. These days, as you know very well, we operate in a very competitive environment, and all the tools that we use simply makes us, are trying to make us very comfortable in offering extended customizability and in being able to be adapted to our needs. And this is exactly our philosophy behind development of XTRF. We want the system to be responsive, to be user-friendly, and to be easily adaptable to different user needs. Therefore, I'll simply illustrate just a few examples of how the system can be easily adjusted to reflect the needs of individuals within organizations. And my colleague Łukasz will provide a brief example of what we mean by automating repetitive steps of our daily activities. As you know, many companies operate in a global environment. They have offices worldwide, they employ people from different cultures. Therefore, not everybody might be very comfortable using the system in one corporate language. Okay? Therefore, we simply allow each individual user to adjust, select their preferences for system localization. It's easy to do. Every user can easily customize his or her account by selecting a preferred language. And as my predecessor here, Jean-François, is a French native, let's change the system into French. You simply select the desired language from a pull-down list of menu, and here it goes. The system will now be available in French, and also it might generate all documents like invoices, job confirmations, purchase orders using French or German or Spanish or Chinese document templates. And all the notifications and messages which are sent by the system also might be available with text information in selected languages. As my knowledge of French is really non-existent, let me get back to English. Then again, every system that you might be using in your daily operations presents some information, some data, which is related with different elements of the database. It might happen, however, that you want to have more. Maybe you are not 100% satisfied with the amount of information which is available at hand. Therefore, in our system, you may easily add custom fields in whichever location necessary. Again, it doesn't require any secret programmatic knowledge. You simply go to System Configuration, to the Customization section, select Custom Fields, and add your preferred field. By adding a custom field, you can give it its unique name. Let's just imagine that a vendor manager needs the ability to enter some specific information related with vendors, maybe some brief characteristic, brief description, whichever. Okay? Therefore, let me call this field vendor characteristic, and then select the area in which the field should be displayed. And please note how many options we have. Let's make it a vendor field. And then select type of field. And as you can see here, we might add different types of custom fields. Checkboxes, dates and times, multiple selectors, numerical fields, or simply text fields. Select the desired one, click add, and bingo, it's there. To prove it, let me go to the vendor database, select the first vendor on top, and in the identification area, you can see our text field vendor characteristic. And the vendor manager can now type in whichever information he or she needs to have and use on a daily basis. Another element of the system's flexibility and adaptability is the way in which the system retrieves information from the database by means of filtering criteria and by means of which information is actually displayed on screen. Both can be easily customized. On top of this display, you can see a range of selection filters. You may simply select clients, in this case, as I'm the client database, using their status, their contact person name, country, gender, whichever. Okay? And below, you see information which is client related. If you want to customize that, you simply display the list of views, and you can, as you can see, there are many different views. In many companies, smart views, as we call them, are used as simplified reports, which are always available at hand. You don't have to generate them specifically. Then you just go into the edition mode of the view you want to change. And if you don't need to have any of the filtering criteria, maybe you don't want to filter customers by source language they order, click X, it's gone. Okay? If you want to add a new one, simply click plus, and you may display the list of items which can be used for data filtering. And as you can see here, the selection is really vast. Again, the way we develop the system is to simply give as much power as possible to the hands of individual authorized users. Which means that every little bit of information, every tiny info record which is stored in the system's database can be used in different ways. For business reporting, for report filtering, for view creation, for data search, whichever you want. Then select the one which you want to add, and the new field, selection field has just appeared. Likewise, you can customize the way system displays information by adding new columns. Okay? Again, select the one that you need. Once it simply appears on screen, and then if you want to arrange it in a specific way, simply drag it around exactly the same way as you customize the screen of your iPhone or tablet or any other mobile device. Okay? And the final element of customization is related with your daily operations. Just imagine yourselves, you come to the office in the morning, maybe you were stuck in a traffic jam, and as you were sipping over the morning coffee, you want to see instantly what needs to be done. You need to see relevant information that will help you make plans for the new day at work. Okay? And here comes the dashboard. We don't impose a dashboard on all users for one simple reason. Even in every company, even in a small company, people perform different roles. And therefore they have different needs which are related with information provided. Project managers don't need to see information relevant for salespeople, for example. A financial director needs different information than accountant or a vendor manager or a senior manager, a CEO, who just needs to have an overview of the situation because he or she makes strategic decisions. Okay? Therefore, each user may customize the dashboard exactly the way they want it. They may personalize it by placing relevant information. Let me just show you an example from the sales field. You simply edit dashboard and you add, again, widgets. Okay? A widget you might add can be a smart view. You can give it its unique name, select the area from which the information should be retrieved. And as I'm a salesperson, I'm interested about in clients, and select a predefined smart view. Okay? For example, information which might be very important for me as a salesperson would be which clients have not placed any order for a specific period of time. Okay? And here I have just entered this information on customers who have not ordered anything for 3 months or longer. Now, I can make decisions what to do about it, how to reconnect with them. Maybe launch a promotion targeted at these clients to bring them back on board and make them order projects. And as they order projects, this has direct impact on our company cash flow and the money we earn at the end of the day. A project manager would simply need different information. He or she would again need information which is project related. Okay, so select project as the area from which information is to be retrieved, and maybe select projects due today. Then you simply, this person simply looking at this at the dashboard display will see instantly which projects require immediate attention on a specific day. Okay? On top of that, you can add different type of information. Maybe you simply want to embed a website. Okay? Just enter the URL of the website you want to have displayed, and bingo, here you go. Which might be important for a financial manager, because this person can simply embed direct access to the bank account, to the website of the bank account, to check the incoming amounts and see whether the amount that has just hit the bank account. There are many possibilities. We're not trying to impose on our users what exactly they should do and how they should work. We give them freedom of choice, freedom of deciding. Okay? Now I'll simply hand over to my colleague Lucas, who will show you a very interesting live example of how system might automate some actions. We have different levels of automation, and one of the examples will be presented by Lukasz. And of course, if you have any questions or want to learn more, you're invited to join us at our stand. Okay?
And also after the coffee break outside.
Exactly. And as Chandler kindly reminds me, the round table, we are there. Please come over, ask questions. We'll do our best to provide answers the best we can.
And while we are doing that, I'm just letting you know that the sessions are planned in a way that we will have 1 hour. And it doesn't mean that you will spend that very 1 hour with the very same supplier, memoQ guy, whoever. But we will make a switch after 30 minutes, which means that you will be able to attend 2 sessions. To make the right choice, please, after the coffee break, come back, and then I'm going to show you the list of sessions that you can attend.
Right, while the computer is being set up, I decided not to show you XTRF this time, so I hope you won't be disappointed. I didn't show memoQ last year, and I thought it's a good idea actually not to show not only memoQ but also not to show XTRF. I'll show you just my mailbox. I'll send an email, and you'll see what happens. Okay, I hope I will be able to do that. But we are proud about our automation. What XTRF can speed up in your work environment. So one thing, of course, would be the smart projects. You may have heard about them. It's a project management in XTRF that works in parallel to our legacy project management that we've been developing for almost 10 years now. So this is one thing that well, maybe you'll see a glimpse of. And another thing that you may have heard and that I'm gonna use now is this mailbox screen. I'll use something that we call smart connectors. Everything is smart these days, especially in XTRF. So I sent a PM, my colleague actually, but a PM in the company I work with. So imagine I'm the customer. I'm working with you, a translation company. So I'm just sending an email. I agreed to send every now and then. It's really a small project. I have plenty of such projects. So you may have clients like this that order a couple a couple of hundred words every day, or maybe it's a couple projects like this every day. What they do, they attach a quick file or just send you one sentence, and that's what happens. I'm doing just that, sending an email. So even no content there, just a bare email. XTRF checks this mailbox of Maciej, and that folder is monitored every minute for new emails like this. And if they fall into certain criteria, of course, you wouldn't like any spam be kept in your TMS system. This will trigger a chain of reactions. And of course, the first one is starting a project. And now, what actually starting a project means for you? When do you start a project? I'm not saying about creating a page that contains all the data, but what is actually starting a project? To me, it sounds like I send the POs to the translators. When this is sent, it's actually the process has started. Maybe, I don't know, but I'll show it up to this point. Okay, you may have noticed I got notified as a project manager now. So I am this double personality person, and opening my project as project manager, I was notified that a new project was triggered automatically. What you can see is, okay, it uses my service, my process, the deadline is set, the languages are set because it's always for the same languages. Okay, I have two translation because I always two translation jobs because I always translate into Polish and Russian, and there's a proofreader that is already assigned because it's always the same in-house person that does it and does the proofreading. Okay, some things are missing. There are no dates for the translation jobs. That's my PM's work to do. I'll do that in a second, and the files are there. And look how many files. This is important. So I just attached one file and I get cut analysis, bilingual documents, source, yes, that's the one I sent, and then two translation memories. Okay? This is using memoQ, and memoQ transmitted that data back to XTRF. So it triggered a chain reaction, and up to the point where I can see what the client will pay me for that project. I'm using minimum charges. I can also tell what the total cost will be for this project in that same moment. So going back to translation jobs, I quickly assign a couple vendors that the system suggests. Okay, I can see how busy they are. I pick somebody here, pick another person, and the moment I do it, the system uses any automation it can. Oh, Luis is busy, Luis brothers are busy, so Marek is pretty free. Okay, it uses any automation it possibly can to speed it up. I'm back in my email, and I get messages one after another that will produce the POs I mentioned. Okay, because now, well, actually, one last piece of information is missing. That's the dates, and I can check, how many words there were. Quick peek on the receivable. That's 15 words project. Okay, let me use the volume field here. It's very handy. So this is one automation that is missing probably in the project, but it's still in PM scans. Look, the Gantt chart changed. The schedule is now different. It calculated the times of translation and proofreading. That's enough to send POs. If I now select one of these, I'll be able to send POs to those people, but the system will also pick that info automatically and send POs because the dates are there, the money is there, the files are there as well. And it's already in memoQ, so when only I hit this red button start to translation memory, to translation jobs in memoQ, that triggers another notification. You can start now, just do it. And this is just the beginning. I'm sure you know what should happen in memoQ now when they get those notifications. So as I said, purchase orders, they've been sent without me pressing the button. See, the PDF is attached. Right, so I bet you spent, or your PMs spent quite a lot of time preparing those, if you don't have a system like this. And then when I selected those people, they get notifications like this with a link where they can see what needs to be translated. Of course, it can be agreed with them. We can send job offers before if you don't have those names at hand. They don't have to work in memoQ online. I know, Kilter guys would love, everybody to work in memoQ. This is a great tool, but it's not the reality we're facing. Some people just refuse to do that. So they are able to download packages. They can work offline. They can get a memoQ handoff package. They can just download XLIF. It's up to them. They don't have to work online. They don't have to connect to the server, although it's encouraged. The links here will lead them to WebTrans. This is also encouraged, but again, it depends. So we give lots of choice for both the project managers, the translation company owners, and the translators as well. And that would be it. Last thing before I pass the mic on to Shandor is so you see which automations and how can be enabled or disabled in XTRF, because it doesn't have to happen like this in your scenarios. We call them automations for the smart projects and quotes. It tells you how much has been automated already. Also, how many hours work were saved, because we assume every automation saves at least a minute. So that. And then there's a list of things that are automated or can be turned off if you don't like to automate them. Okay? I'm happy to show that in detail at our table or during the roundtable session. That's it. Okay? Sandra.